Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Fernandez again. I'm back on here today. I'm excited to do a math activity with you. I know that last week Mrs. Lynch taught you some Say 10 push-ups, so I wanted to start today's lesson with some Say 10 push-ups because I love to do Say 10 push-ups. Say 10 push-ups help us to better understand what our team numbers are like. That 14 is really 110 and 4 ones, and we're going to talk more about that and do more activities around that kind of idea in the next couple of weeks. So if you're still getting the hang of it, it's no big deal. So let's start. Let's start by just counting to 10. And I would really love it if you could, while I do this video out loud, I want you to pretend that you're sitting here right with me, and I'd love to hear you counting along with me and using your fingers and really getting into it, because the more you do it, the more you might enjoy it. All right, so let's start by just counting to 10. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great job. It's always kind of funky for me. I can't ever get that 9 to look the way I want it to. That's okay. 10. Awesome. Now we know you all can count up to 20. After 10 would be 11, 12, 13. So we know you know that. So the Say 10 way just shows us really what that means. So we can do it twice. We'll count to 20 twice the Say 10 way using Say 10 push-ups. And I know it's kind of new, so don't worry if you mess up. I'll go as slow as I can. Okay? All right. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to keep going. 10, 1, 10, 2, 10, 3, 10, 4, 10, 5, 10, 6, 10, 7, 10, 8, 10, 9, there's my funky 9, and then it's 2 10s, which would be 20. 20 is 2 groups of 10. Let's do it once more. Will you do it with me, please, please, please? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 1, 10, 2, 10, 3, 10, 4, 10, 5, 10, 6, 10, 7, 10, 8, 10, 9, 2 10s. Great job. I did a little faster that time. Could you keep up? I bet you could. Now, I'm going to ask some questions out loud. I want you just to pretend like you're with me. So if I said 10, 4, does anyone know what number that would be? 10, 4. That would be 14. What about 10, 2? That would be 12. All right. Well, today I put together a couple addition problems for us, and we can kind of keep in mind our counting the Say 10 way, and that sometimes helps us to add on to 10. Everything we're going to add on today is starting with 10 and adding on. So let me try to get this situated so that you can see everything. I think I'm going to drop you to the ground. Sorry that it's a little fumbly. Bear with me here. All right. So I've got a lot on my page here, and I'm really hoping, there we go, that's a little easier to see. I'll put a number 1 here. This is the problem I want us to look at. I know there's a lot on the page, and I'm sorry. Sometimes it's hard to do work or look at something when there's a lot going on the page. It's a lot for your brain to think about. So I'm sorry that this looks that way. But if you look up here, I want you to focus on these 2 10 frames here. We're used to seeing just 1 10 frame. That's what we've done a lot with school. So all I've done here is just added another 10 frame. Okay, so I see a 10 frame here, and I'm noticing that this 10 frame is all filled up with counters. And then I'm looking down at this 10 frame here, and I'm noticing, how many counters are in there? Think in your head. Okay, there are 2. So then I'm looking here and I'm thinking, all right, there is an equation here that Mrs. Fernandez wants me to think about and fill in, and we'll do that together. And it's blank plus blank equals blank. So we've got 2 parts here, and we're trying to figure out what the whole is. Well, if you look at my 10 frames, here's my first part, here's my second part, and then all together would be my whole. So one thing I'm noticing is this 10 frame is all the way filled up. So you might think, okay, I know there's 10 there. I could count on from 10, 10, 11, 12, or 10 and 2. But if you want, you can always just count to be sure. So this first part is how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The first part on this problem is 10. 10 plus how many more? 2. 10 plus 2 equals how many altogether? 10, 11, 12. And we'll talk about it more, but that's why we write the 12 the way we do. A 1 in the tens place to represent one group of 10 and 2 ones. That's why it's written like that. So if I want to read back my addition sentence here, I've got 10 plus 2 equals 12. Awesome. All right, next problem we can try together. I'm looking at it and I'm seeing kind of some of the same things. I see 2 10 frames. I've got a whole filled 10 frame up here and a partially filled 10 frame down here, which means that some of it's filled in, and another equation down here that needs to be filled out. The parts and the whole are missing. I'm trying to figure out one part plus another part equals how many all together. Well, same thing. I know this is a 10 frame. We call it a 10 frame because there's 10 spots in there and it's all filled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My first part is 10. My second part is down here in this second 10 frame. 10 plus how many more? Now you might be using that math brain and thinking, you know what? I'm looking at that. I didn't count, but I know that half of my 10 frame is filled and 5 is half of that. So I know it's 5. Or maybe you can look at it if you do number talks in your classroom and think, you know what? I see 3 here. I can count on from 3, 3, 4, 5. Or maybe your brain just sees 4 and then count on one more. Or maybe you just go ahead and count it. There are lots of ways to see numbers. That's why math is so cool. Count it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put that here. 10 plus 5 equals 15. Sorry, my 5s are a little funky. It's hard to write it like that. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 10 plus 5 equals 15. 10 plus 5 equals 15. Awesome job, guys. All right, I've got 2 more problems here. If you want, you can pause the video, get a piece of paper. I'm using a crayon. It's probably best for you to use a pencil. But maybe if you want, you could pause the video here, and with a pencil, you could take your time and draw these problems like I did. And if you wanted to try these problems on your own and then check it with the video after you do the work, you can do that. That's up to you. Or you can just keep on watching along with me. You can decide. So either pause, make this problem and this problem, try it on your own, and then check it back with this video, or just keep working with me. So let's move on. We've got 2 more problems. Same thing. We're trying to figure out, whoops, sorry about that. Part, whole. How many altogether? All right. We know this is a 10 frame. It's all the way filled with counters. So how many do we have there? 10. I'm going to write that here. That's my first part. 10 plus how many more? Well, same thing. You could figure it out by just counting them. If you know that this is 5, you could skip count by 5, 5, 6, 7. It's up to you. I see that there are 7 more here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 10 plus 7 equals 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Same thing. If you're thinking of like the say 10 push-ups, 10, 7, 17. Okay, awesome. Last one. Thanks for paying attention to me. This was a long video. 1 more problem. Same thing. 2 10 frames. 1's all the way filled. And you know what I'm noticing? Take a look at this second 10 frame here. It's almost all the way filled up. But I'm noticing there's 1 part here missing. So sometimes you can look at a 10 frame and count backwards. If you started with 10 and counted backwards from what's missing, we'll do that when we get there. So I know this is 10 just by looking at it. If I want to double check, I can go ahead and count, but I know I see 10 there to start. Plus how many more? I'm looking at this 10 from thinking, oh, it's almost filled. I know that 9 is 1 fewer or 1 less than 10, so that must be 9. I'm going to double check just in case. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I was right. 10 plus 9 equals 19. 19. 10 plus 9 equals 19. 10, 9, 19. All right, friends, you did such a great job with this. Thanks for listening along with me. Maybe you didn't do any writing. You just listened and participated with today's lesson. That's totally fine. Let me move this so I can see you. That's totally fine. If you want to just tell your teacher you participated or mention something about what you did, maybe one thing you learned. Any way you want to show your learning is fine. We're just happy that you're here with us and working along. We miss you a lot. All right, guys, take care. Bye.